Mate, have you ever seen one of these things before with a lens and an SD card inside of it? Bro? Guys. Yes, guys, for real. Look at it. Comfortable, bro? This cat doesn't have a name. Any ideas? Let me know in the comments. The best one wins. Not a meow, just a little one. Hey, there we go. I don't know if the microphone picked that one up. Yes, guys, welcome back to the George Benson Football Channel. Welcome to another video. That was the wrong way round, that introduction, but I'm gonna leave it anyway because, well, there was a bloody cat that was introduced to you at the beginning of this video. I'll give you a little backstory before we get into anything. Basically, Daria found it in the middle of the road, and then we took it to the vet, and then, you know, classic animal lover, you can't take an animal to the vet and throw him back out on the street. That would be probably one of the most pointless investments ever. So we got a 3-week-old kitten in the house. He doesn't have a name. Let me know what we should call him in the comments down below. Chelsea versus West Brom in the Premier League, Saturday, early kickoff. It feels good to have our Chelsea back, and if you guys want to be in with a chance of winning £1,000 from the match tomorrow on GBFC Selects, I will leave a link in the description. You've got to be 18 plus, be gamble aware, terms and conditions apply. Best of luck to all of you. This is a big game. It's also a game where, if you look at on paper, which is a very dangerous thing to do when it comes to football, Chelsea should be winning this one. We're unbeaten in 14 under Thomas Tuchel, who, by the way, a couple of minutes ago, before recording this video, TT has been given the Premier League Manager of the Month award for March. So congratulations, thoroughly deserved. And yeah, West Brom, 2 goals scored in their last 7 games, I believe it is. Chelsea, we all know how good we've been defensively recently, so Chelsea Football Club, don't do what in the past we've been pretty good at doing, which is just handing teams in dire need of points and goals and victories exactly that. So fingers crossed that it is job done and normal service resumed tomorrow for Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. There aren't that many new injury worries, which, considering it's an international break and we started off with N'Golo Kante getting a mini injury for France, Hudson-Odoi, he also might not be ready for tomorrow. Mason Mount, it looked as though he might have picked up an injury for England, but he then went and played the 3rd game and looks to be ready to go. So, with that being said, there is pretty much a full squad of players for Thomas Tuchel to choose from. I've just realised this is incredibly overexposed, so I might move myself back a wee bit. Without any further ado, we are going to go and build my Chelsea starting 11. It is a tough one. You know, we got Tammy Abraham back from injury, Timo Werner. I want to address this very quickly. Yes, he missed the sitter for Germany against Macedonia. Do we all really need to report everything as if it's some kind of crazy unseen before piece of news if a striker who's not in the best goal scoring form misses another chance? Can we just relax on this a little bit for now? And there is also a debate where people are saying that Timo gets away with it, Tammy gets slaughtered. I think all of this just needs to be put to bed until we've seen a ball kicked tomorrow for Chelsea against West Brom. I think there is a chance that Tammy Abraham might come back into the team. However, we're going to start from the back, as we always do. And it is the man who can do no wrong, Mr. Edouard Mendy. The safest hands in the Premier League at the moment. The man just isn't conceding goals. And it is pretty obvious that he'll be starting this game. There's no injuries for him. Tuchel said in his press conference, nothing to worry about. Edouard Mendy is starting in goal. We move into a centre-back 3, and it's a tough one again. Thiago Silva is back fit. He is ready for selection. And when I'm building this side against West Brom, I'm thinking at it from a couple of angles. And we've got Porto in a massive Champions League game on Wednesday night. But does that even help us consider changing the team too much? Because this is still a big Premier League game. Whether it's West Brom or not, I think whatever back 3 Chelsea choose will be more than good enough to deal with the West Brom attack that has not really been the most potent thing we've seen in the Premier League recently. But I've gone with Azpilicueta in the right centre-back position, alongside Andreas Christensen and Tony Rudiger. It is a bit of a tough one because maybe Silva starts in the middle and then Christensen, who's been in the better form and has more recent match minutes, comes in for the arguably bigger match against Porto on Wednesday. It could have been any. Zuma could have been in there as well. He's been in good form too. But I went with those three, and we move into the right wing back, Reece James. I think it's between Reece and Callum Hudson-Odoi. And against West Brom, I think that we could see Reece James getting forward a lot in this position. If Callum Hudson-Odoi was in the role, then of course we know that Callum would have an absolute field day down that right-hand side. But I think we'll start with Reece James. I think we will give West Brom the respect because they're not an easy team to beat, even though they've not been winning many matches recently. They're not easy to beat, and I think we need to be careful that we don't pick too much of an attacking lineup and then it just doesn't quite materialise for us and actually West Brom come and give Chelsea a good game. Sam Allardyce is the manager, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise. So Reece James in the right wing-back role could be Callum, but I'm going to give it to Reece, and we move over to the left-hand side, and I've gone with the more attacking left wing-back, Marcos Alonso. Ben Chilwell looked pretty good for England again, but Marcos Alonso has that thing going forward that we all know is the real key as to why Marcos Alonso gets picked in this side. Defensively, since Thomas Tuchel came in, he's also looked very solid and decent as well. So for that reason, I'm going to give him the go-ahead for this match against West Brom. And then the game against Porto again, I keep thinking about how this team and how this game will lead into that Champions League match on Wednesday night. Do we go for Chilwell against Porto, or do we just stick with Alonso because he has been the best in that wing-back role since Mr. Audi TT came in? I can't believe I just said that. I'm never going to say that again. But we move into the two central midfielders, and I keep changing my mind with this one too. There are so many players that can play in this role. Kovacic is, for me, the one that I'm very certain about. Whether it's Kante or Jorginho is the other question. I think if Jorginho plays, which I've actually selected Jorginho for this one, because I think Kante might be rested for that match against Porto because it is such a big game. We don't want to see him picking up a little injury against a very physical side that would see him have to step out of the game against Porto on Wednesday night. So I've gone with Kovacic and Jorginho. I think it would allow us to see Kovacic more of a license to go forward, which I do think is one of the most underrated parts of Mateo Kovacic's game. The reason I say that Kovacic is a guaranteed starter is because he played incredibly well for Croatia during that international break as well. And I think in this kind of match, I think it's going to be perfect for Chelsea to have Kovacic in the middle to actually carry that ball forward and start offloading it to the wing-backs and the wingers in order to get Chelsea in shooting oppositions. We go forward into the mesmerising front three, and I've gone with Mount, Havertz and Werner. Mount is just an absolute no-brainer. I could not sing this guy's praises any more than I already have done. I think he's England's most important player right now, Chelsea's most important player right now. The man's an absolute genius, and even when he looks injured, he still plays the next bloody game and manages to finish it properly, which however many minutes he got. So Mason Mount is in there. Kai Havertz looked good for Germany. He was coming into good form for Chelsea in just before the international break, and I think there's no Hakim Ziyech in this team. I have to address this one because I know that you guys are going to think the agenda is back before a ball is even kicked. The reason that I've not played Hakim Ziyech is because I'm resting him for Porto. I think Ziyech is a big game player, and I think he starts on Wednesday. I can't even get my words out. And then there's Timo Werner. I said at the beginning of the video that maybe Tammy Abraham starts this game. I don't think Olivier Giroud will start this one because I think he'll feature in the match against Porto at some stage. It could be Tammy because he is back fit, but I do look at this fixture and think that, well, Tuchel's going to be aware Werner's miss against Macedonia got a lot of publicity, and it is the kind of game where Chelsea are expected to win, and it might be the perfect one to start with Timo Werner as the most advanced striker. If he can get a goal under his belt in this game, carries that forward into the Champions League and the rest of the Premier League season, it could be the Am I allergic to cats all of a sudden? Could be the perfect springboard for Timo Werner to start firing between now and the end of the season. As for the substitutes bench, it's always going to be absolutely stacked for Chelsea, whoever we're playing against, because of the depth within this squad that we currently have. Let me know in the comments down below what your starting 11 is for this one. Do you think we need to rest more players with one eye or 1.5 eyes on the game against Porto on Wednesday? Or are you like me, where you think this is a massive Premier League game, we cannot afford to drop any points here, it's a must win, so therefore we pick one of the strongest teams you possibly can? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. Got a little bit of news. I still don't know if the stream is going to be from this camera or from my phone, but I will be live streaming for the West Brom game tomorrow for a watch along, so make sure you tune in for that one. It's an early kickoff, so get yourself a brew, or if you're happy that the UK's weather this week has been a little bit better than it normally is in March, I think they hit 20 degrees, which is ludicrous, get yourself a cheeky beer or maybe a little cider. I don't know what your preference is, but get yourself a bevy, come onto the stream and we can enjoy the game together. Thank you guys for watching. As I said at the beginning, if you're not signed up for GBFC Selects, you might as well do so. Link down below, chance to win £1,000. It's simple. Catch you in the watch along. Come on, you Blues.